What's up, guys? We're back in the garage. Things have changed, like always. We did something. We have decided that we're not using the Allison, and we have got another transmission, and it's already here in the garage, actually. I probably should have taped the whole process of me going to get the transmission. That'd probably be better content than just always me in the garage, but I didn't. So instead, what we'll do is we'll do what we've seen me do a bunch of times, and we are going to pull the Cummins back out with the Allison. Allison's got to go. I have it listed for sale. I have possibly a prospect buyer for the adapter setup for it, and I've also got possibly a buyer for the Allison, and also maybe a buyer for the 46RH that came with the Cummins. What we did do is we landed ourselves a 46 or a 48RE. A lot of you will know 48RE is an electronic transmission, which means I'm going to need a controller still, but the controller for this is way more simple than the Allison controller and also much cheaper than the Allison controller. There's not going to be a bunch of tuning required to it. It's just, you know, it's kind of like the 4L60 and 4L80 controllers. Is pretty simple. I already went ahead and ordered that. I got the Firepunk Anteater Controller that they sell, just the basic edition. I didn't get the Pro with the tap shift because I'm not going to be drag racing this truck. It's just to tow my family around and maybe pull some other cool, you know, bag trucks on a trailer to different shows with. I want something that can go long distance. Some people said, hey, there's only 4 gears on that one, but it always, you know, Dodge has never had an issue driving it with the Cummins, so it really shouldn't be an issue. And worst comes to worst, I'll just gear the rear end down. If I really hated it, I could always probably do a an overdrive setup from man, I just completely blanked on their name, but they make that separate overdrive unit that hangs off the back of it. Those units are almost $4,000 though, so that would be last choice. I'd probably just do some rear end gears, maybe like a, you know, a 355, you know, so it'd be happy on the freeway at high speeds, even with the trailer. But either way, that's what we're doing. I had a friend, and I'll flip the camera around here, who had this transmission, and I definitely appreciate him. He gave me a good deal on it. He needed the back half of it because he had a 4-wheel drive and he had a 2-wheel drive tail housing, so he went ahead and put the 2-wheel drive tail housing on this transmission. But yeah, I mean, that's fine. I need a 2-wheel drive, so this is perfect that I have this 2-wheel drive tail housing and I got what I need up here. So we're gonna get this thing cleaned up. We're probably just going to go ahead and just toss it in there the way it is and hook it up to the controller and just send it. If it blows, it blows, and I'll have the money to rebuild it. But I mean, I might as well not just throw money at it rebuilding it right now if I can at least use it to get the truck running to work out the kinks, and then, you know, go ahead and do the rebuild later down the road, or, you know, whatever I decide to do. But this is our new transmission. I should be able to fit this thing under the factory floor, in which I already cut out. No issue. Kind of like I just said, I did cut the floor out already in my, you know, which I needed to do because I wanted to make sure that the Allison would fit, and if I didn't cut the floor, I wouldn't have known how much it was going to change the engine height and everything else. The only thing I wish I didn't do is I wish I didn't use the method I did at cutting the floor, because now I can't just weld that panel back in. I cut too much off the side, so I'm not going to be able to just weld that one back in. And I did that to not throw sparks all over everything, because I was trying to be hasty and cut it, and I didn't want to cover all the windows and the dash and everything. But instead, all I did is make it harder to fill the floor, and I'll probably just do it with a piece of sheet metal. No one's ever gonna know, because I'm gonna go back with factory carpet in this thing, and no one will ever see it. By the time I seal it all up and I deaden the floor and deaden the interior of the cab, no one's gonna know that that is under there. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up the cameras. Let's pull all this back out and get this Allison off of here and try to get all that stuff off to the side. That way it's ready to sell. And yeah, that's just where we're at. We're switching transmissions again. Engine's gotta come back out. Engine's gotta go back in to make sure everything clears. And we just gotta keep doing this until we get this right. no big deal. Sorry, it's just the same stuff over and over again. Hopefully next, after this, once we get this all put back together with that transmission in it, I'll have the controller, we'll start doing wiring, we'll start doing hoses, we'll start doing all the stuff to make this thing run. That way we can work out the bugs, and then I can pull it all back out for paint and everything. That way I'm not having to drill any holes in fresh paint. All the hoses will know where everything goes, and we can just put it all back together once it's painted, and it'll look great. So that's where we're at, and like I said, I'll set the cameras up and we'll start working on this thing. End of the night. As usual in the Garage Built Garage, we learn something new every time we do this because I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert in Cummins, I'm not an expert in diesels, I'm not an expert in working on cars, nor am I a legitimate mechanic. I'm learning as I go. Everything that I've been doing, I've been learning every time I kind of step into it. What we learned tonight is that the 46RH uses a different adapter than the 48RE due to the lockup converter. The lockup converter is bigger, so it sticks out of the bell housing, where the 46, it doesn't have lockup and it's inside the bell housing. So I need to order an adapter, another adapter. Not a big deal because it is a Cummins part, Cummins to a Dodge transmission. These are made of cast and they're way cheaper than these billet adapters like I used on the Allison conversion. I think I can pick up from 180, 245, somewhere in that zone off of eBay. Not a big deal. Probably also gonna have to change starters due to the difference, and maybe even get a different flex plate, which is fine because I wanted to use a billet one anyways. I didn't want to use the little paper thin one that Dodge gives you. So no matter what, I was gonna switch that at some point. So, you know, give or take, we're looking at another $500–600 to get this transmission mounted up on top of the $900 for the computer. It's still not bad. Whenever I pulled the converter off this transmission, I saw that the converter was built in 2015. So this converter may be good. I'm legitimately gonna slap this thing in there, and just like I said, I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna run the thing until it blows, and my feelings will not be hurt if I have to rebuild it. No big deal. In my mind, I was already planning on rebuilding it anyways. If I have to do a rebuild, no biggie. I'm probably gonna pull the tail housing off, put a new seal on there. Again, not a big deal. We'll get this thing going. So I'm gonna get these parts ordered and we'll get this thing back together. As of now, I just took some shots. I just have everything pulled out of the truck, laying on the floor of the garage. Just no point in me putting anything back in until I can get this transmission mounted on the back. Make sure everything clears before I weld the tunnel back up. That way, even if I just need to adjust it a tiny bit, I can do that. But I just want to make sure everything is good before I start welding. Again, appreciate y'all guys watching. It's definitely been a busy night. I'm tired, my back hurts. So thanks for watching the videos. All the new people, I appreciate y'all coming to the channel. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and definitely leave something in the comments if you have a question or suggestion, or even know something else that I might be missing that you could possibly tell me to make this go a little bit easier. So have a good night, guys.